Alright, fleshing out my Astra Militarum and Scions to give me lots of different ways of running lists. I've got my Thorax Primes. So I've got 4 of these, and just to give me a little bit of flexibility in terms of what I want to do with my Astra Militarum, I'm just starting to assemble them. I'd heard in some places that they were a pain in the butt to assemble, but so far everything snaps quite nicely together. I've got the 4 tracks set up here, which are not too bad. It reminds me of putting rhinos together, but not quite as annoying as putting rhinos together. I'm doing my assembly bits here, so we're going to go on. What I'm going to do is try and make them as magnetized or swappable as possible, because I really want the flexibility in terms of layout of these things, because it's a big difference in terms of points between like the Gatling and lasers layout, loadout, and the missile launchers and autocannons loadout, or autocannons and Gatling. So I want to be able to mix and match as I need. So I'm going to try and make it so I can magnetize or swap as many of these as possible. So when we get to that point, we'll have to see how it's all put together. Alright, about halfway along this Thorax Prime here. Very cool model, lots of detail, very interesting kit. Even little details like the suspension pistons get detail, which is the thing about GW models, man. They're always detailed, even the parts that you don't see, which is just awesome. And the wheels are really detailed. Everything's awesome. Even this dude inside, which you'll never see, is a fully detailed guardsman with his hand on the wheel and the hand on the shifter, and those are all, and the wheel is all, these are all separate parts, which is amazing. Inside is obviously extremely detailed. The dashboard, these are parts which you probably will never see, but are just all there. The only detail was this 2 parts of the floor here wouldn't stay down. I had to glue it and hold it, but other than that, it's gone together like a dream. So we'll keep going and finishing off. We're getting to the crucial part now with the roof and the guns. So it looks like the common pieces of the roof are 98 and 76, and this is the same regardless of what weapons loadout you have. And then you have a choice of just closed hatch or a dude sticking out the hatch, and then you can choose the battle cannon or the Gatling cannon on the side. And then this top piece on top of that is either 46, this flat piece, or if you choose to do the missile launcher, it's actually the missile launcher bits. And then autocannons always just stick to the side. So I think I'm safe. I'm going to dry fit it. I'm safe just to make these 2 base pieces. I don't want to paint another dude on the top, so I'm just going to close that hatch and then just magnetize the missiles and Gatling cannon on top. Alright, so the only difference between my loadouts, I'm always going to have autocannon, so I'm just going to glue those on. The difference between the Gatling cannon and the missile launcher, so it all works out, actually, that the missile launcher is just a separate piece like this. And that's it. I'll just leave it like that. Normally this roof piece here goes on there if there's no missile launcher, but I think that looks fine. I'll just put this on and off like this. There we go. Don't even need to magnetize it. So that's easy. And then the Gatling cannon just sits there on and off. So I've put a magnet under there. It's just gluing together right now, and that'll just magnetize on and off. Problem solved. So fairly straightforward there. The only thing I noticed was that this piece in the instructions, they've numbered it wrong. They said it's 76, when in fact this is 76 and this is 46. So that was a little bit confusing, but then I figured it out in the end. So there we go. That's 1 Thorax built, and we can go on and build some more. Alright, just building up my second Thorax here, and a couple of tips if you're building Thoraxes. First of all, there is a difference in size between the front and rear tracks. That's pretty obvious. But what might not be obvious is the track at the bottom is 3 pieces. This first 3, second piece, and then the inner piece. And these are about 1 millimeter wider on the back track than the front track. So the ones that go on these tracks don't fit the ones on the back track. So do follow the numbers in the instructions. Either that or just separate them out into the slightly larger pieces and the slightly smaller pieces. They're otherwise identical, so you can mix them up. So this time I decided just, I know how to do this. I don't need the numbers on the instructions. I just cut them all out, and then I realized when pieces wouldn't fit in the small tracks that there's two sizes, and I had to pry them apart and put them back on. So do keep that in mind. Also, these suspension pipes, when you put them in, do make sure they're facing the right way. On my first Torx, I faced one or two of them the wrong way, and they don't fit. So do make sure they're facing the right way so that they'll fit in properly on the bottom of the vehicle. Managed to get my hands on a couple of Manticores, and pretty cool kit so far. The treads were not too much of a pain in the ass, not like the Rhino treads. This mechanism is very cool. It's got two pivot points there, and then this thing that slides along there and has a couple of stopping points so it doesn't collapse. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Goes up and down. It's a little bit too good. It doesn't slide down. There we go. Goes like that, and it slides up as well. So that's pretty cool. Cool mechanism. Alright, finished this Manticore. Pretty easy to assemble, fits together nicely. The only tip I would give people is that attach these missiles on to the rack before attaching the rack. I think that makes it easier, because after that you have to push the missiles on and they might not fit properly, and then you end up dislocating the racks from those supports, and it's a little bit of a pain. But otherwise, easy to put together, and on to the next. Alright, so that's my 3 Manticores done. Unfortunately, this I bought off somebody else and it's been glued like this. So I don't think there's any give there. I can always cut this support off if it's come down. But my 2 tanks go up and down, so that's cool. And so I think 3 Manticores is enough. I got my 3 Hellhounds, so let's carry on and finish off the rest of our Astra Militarum assembling. Alright, I've made some mortar teams, just 6. I converted 3 of my las cannons because I had 12 of them into mortar teams, and 3 new mortar teams. So I have 6 mortar teams and 9 las cannon teams now. Las cannons over there. I've completed my 4 Toroxes. Missiles just come off, and all the Gatlings are magnetized. And I've got my Manticores and my Hellhounds and my 1 Chimera, my Sentinels, 9 Ratlings, and my 2 Valkyries. So that's pretty good. I think I'm pretty much done my Astra Militarum detachment options. And so now I'm going to start working on the other parts of the list, assembly-wise, but then I'm also going to start painting them. Just putting together these Primaris aggressors. Once again, fantastic models. The plastic is super high quality, very easy to clean, very few mold lines. And any mold lines or little sprue attachment points are hidden because of how complex they are to go together now. Very awesome models. Like all the Primaris that I've put together so far. Even these little shoulder bits are now covered with shoulder pads, and they no longer attach them on the smooth surface. The hand goes together with no seam there with the weapon, because the seam is in the bit that goes around the thumb, so it looks like a natural seam. It's just really good how they hide these mold lines these days. Makes it easier for me, people who don't like to remove mold lines. Everything fits together perfectly. The only thing I gotta say is they're still putting mold lined and sprue attachment points right on the top curved surface of the backpack. If they stopped doing that, that would be great. But that's the only complaint I still have about Marines. Otherwise, these Primaris Marine models are just joy to put together, super easy, minimal cleaning, and just snap together like awesome. Alright, I've done my first 3 aggressors. I just wanted to highlight how complex these guys are. Multi-plated armor like all the Primaris. 3 levels to it: front plate, middle plate, and then back plate. This join here is not just a random touch point. It actually has bits that fit together, and you see I've not pressed it together properly there. But that's all these wires that join up are all actually proper fits. So that's one there. That's one right there. And look how complex this wiring is. It's crazy. But they're actually made to fit together, and if you're off by a millimeter or a split millimeter, it doesn't fit together. It's that precise. Same with this. Right there is the joint right there. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy precision on this modeling. So here's the sergeant. I just finished him. He's even crazier. See the crazy one? Actually, he might have been the crazy one. No, the craziest one is this dude. On this backpack right there, you can see how detailed it is right there, and the cables actually overlap because of his arm position. Look at that. And that goes together right there in a very precise joint that's molded. It's not just a flat joint like the old Devastator boxes, which are a pain in the ass because they slip all the time. These are molded, so you know when you got it right, but you got to get it right. For some reason, this guy's Flamestorms are shorter, stubbier than the other two, but anyway, fantastic models. I've done 3 now, so I'm going to keep building these. Having great fun building these. All right, aggressors are done. 15 of them, 12 flamers, and 3 Boltstorm, just for variety and just in case. So I've got 3 sergeants, enough to make 3 units of 3 or 4. And then I've got these Boltstorm guys. I debated whether I should just make 3 more flamers, but just in case, I feel like the flamers are better just because of the auto hitting. But anyway, just for variety, we made some Boltstorm guys. So there we go. Those guys are done. So the next part of my army is in fact in the box over there, which you'll see on the next work in progress.